I'm not sure that you're able to respond because we're in one of these exciting new Teams meetings. Oh, there you go. Thumbs up. That's great. Yeah, I'm also trialing the new version of Teams at the moment, which is cool and exciting, but everything's changed position. So you'd have to bear with me if I have any technical difficulties. So as you can tell from the slide, we're here to talk about thriving in the era of AI and Microsoft Copilots. As always with this type of thing, we'll give it a couple of minutes to make sure that we give people enough time to join. So we'll get started at about 3 minutes past the hour. Okie dokie. We've got 22 people in the webinar, so I think we'll get started. Just for those of you that have not been on and participated in one of these Microsoft Teams live events previously, there's a few buttons in the Teams screen that you might not have seen before. So confusingly, we've got both the chat and the Q&A options, and we'll try to monitor both. But my preference would be that you post in the Q&A, and the way that works is that you effectively post a question or a comment, and it allows everybody to then comment underneath that comment. It creates effectively a feed for us to collaborate on. So feel free to post anything that you want in there. The purpose of this session is to do a lot of information sharing, but because you're going to hopefully see some things that will be new to you, we expect a few questions along the way, and so please don't hesitate. You can post them in either the chat or the Q&A, but yeah, preference for us would be the Q&A. So we'll do a quick introduction. My name's Jordan O'Halloran. I'm one of the sales directors at Velrada, and I'll be MC for today's session and walking you through a bit of an introduction before passing off to my esteemed colleagues. Jared?
Yeah, good day, everyone. I'm one of our solution architects here at Velrada, so I'll be walking you through some of the capabilities of Dynamics 365 customer service and how AI and Copilot are embedded within the experiences there to support your service organizations. Matt?
Hey folks, I'm Matt Pontel. I lead the modern applications and Power Platform practice here at Velrada. We are the team that light up the Power Platform solutions, and we've been working very much with Copilot lately.
Deepa.
Hi everyone, Deepa Bansal. I'm a PM in engineering at Microsoft.
Cheers, Deepa. So to kick things off, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the country throughout Australia. We're obviously running a webinar event, so it's a national presence for today, which is fantastic. Yeah, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians throughout the country and pay my respects to their elders past, present, and extend that respect into the future. So we've got a bit of an action-packed agenda for you today. I'm going to give you a grounding on who we are as a business and give you a bit of an introduction to Azure OpenAI within Microsoft. I'll put a frame of reference around Copilots, because that's obviously what we're here to talk about today. And then we'll jump into demonstration. So I'll try to get through points 1 to 3 super quickly, and then hand over to the guys to show you these things in action. Like I said, collaborative session, so feel free to post as many questions as you can come up with. The more interactive, the better. So for those of you on the call that haven't engaged with Velrada previously, we're a Microsoft systems integration and digital partner. We've been in operation since about 2009, headquartered here in Australia, but now a truly global operation. Most of what we do is business applications-led digital transformation. And so we've been fortunate to pick up a bunch of awards for the work that we've done with Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform. And we are a member of the Microsoft Business Applications Inner Circle for this year, which, if you don't drink the Microsoft Kool-Aid, might not mean much to you, but is effectively a inner sanctum of Microsoft partners that work directly with Deepa and her colleagues from the product engineering teams to stay a step ahead of the roadmap for all of the exciting features and functions that Microsoft release, which is no mean feat with the amount of innovation that we see these days. So just as a bit of a claim to fame, Velrada were fortunate to pick up the Australia New Zealand Business Applications and Industry Partner of the Year Award for 2023. We were also recognised as a runner-up for the Global Award for Dynamics 365 Services, which encompasses field service and customer service, and Microsoft Mixed Reality. So we sort of have all seen this huge buzz around AI hit the market over the last 12 months, both within technology, but also democratized across the market. And sort of we've talked about AI within technology for many years, but right now there's this, I guess, huge promise of a new era of innovation being launched through AI capabilities. And really, when we think about this, I like to try and understand why now. When we've talked about data science, machine learning, and AI for so many years, what's changed and how is it different? And really, I guess the step change in excitement around AI that we've seen hit the market is based on the launch of some large-scale foundation models. And so when we think about that in the context of OpenAI, we often think about ChatGPT, and you'll see a lot of the ChatGPT large language model features in action within the demonstrations today, but it extends broadly past that. And so there are a heap of these foundational large-scale models which are able to be called within the OpenAI banner. So we've got you covered with everything from image processing and creation through to your large language translation. And you'll be able to see touches of all of this come into play throughout the demonstrations today. So I thought it was worthwhile giving everybody a bit of a grounding in what we mean when we talk about Azure OpenAI and Copilot, which is Microsoft's terminology for the use of Azure OpenAI within the business applications ecosystem. And so, again, you'll get a flavor of this as we go through the demonstration. But when we talk about Azure OpenAI, what Microsoft have effectively done is made available all of, or many of these large-scale foundational models within the confines of your Azure tenancy. So what does that mean? That means effectively you're able to access these AI models within the security of your tenancy. So your data isn't leaving your Azure environment. Your data is not being used to train the models. It's really in the context of your business data, your operational data, with all of the security, governance, and identity management that you likely already apply for Azure. You're able to call these models and have them process your data and return whatever result you need. And most of us will see this in our day-to-day operation through the use of Bing Enterprise currently, but hopefully through the adoption of some of these Copilot features and maybe extending into custom Azure OpenAI solutions, you guys will be able to see this throughout your business operations. So as you will have guessed, and you've probably seen in the literature out there in the market, Microsoft have coined AI copilots as really the branding behind leveraging these large scale models within the context of your business applications. And so I personally think that they've absolutely nailed this branding. The point behind it is that what Microsoft are trying to do is augment our day-to-day operations, hopefully reducing the burden of administrative tasks, and allowing us as humans to have more time in the day to focus on the human characteristics that we bring to the organizations that we work for. So hopefully there's more opportunity for us to be empathetic towards our colleagues, customers, and operations, and also use our skills with regards to innovation and ideation to push businesses forward. And so the whole point is not to replace humans, but to augment what we do and free up our time to focus in more complex tasks that the AI isn't currently capable of. So you're going to see a smidgen of the Copilot features that are available within the Microsoft stack here today. I believe, although this is changing week to week, there are something like 150 Copilot capabilities that are available within the Microsoft Business Application system, ecosystem at the moment. But this is changing week to week. And so thick and fast innovation is happening within the Copilot space. And so whether you're in the stakeholder engagement world and you're looking to leverage Copilots to augment your marketing content creation, your speed to response with your customer service queries, or you're in the service space and looking to leverage a virtual agent to deliver insight to the frontline workforce, or in the field services domain and looking to leverage AI to help reduce the burden of administrative tasks and perform work order recaps, etc., or right through to using these AI features to help you build solutions and accelerate your innovation within the platform. Microsoft have got a Copilot to suit every requirement from an organization. And so there's so much happening, it's almost impossible to keep up the amount of features and functions that are there. But what I would say is that the innovation that we've seen over the last 6 to 9 months has been truly breathtaking. And it's super exciting as to what's going to be happening in the next 6 to 9 months and beyond. So if you've got an idea on how you think one of these large language model capabilities could be leveraged within your organization, but you're struggling to see that feature in the literature as to a Copilot feature that's available right now, just reach out to one of the engineering folks like Deepa, or your Microsoft or Velrada account manager, because it's highly likely that it's coming. And if it's not coming, you can probably leverage some of the features in Power Platform or in Azure to customize and build your own model. So look, this has been a bit of a whirlwind introduction, and I'm keen to save as much time as we can for demonstration. But I'd sort of land on I guess the message that we talk about AI and machine learning, and we often think that it's a stretch goal. We often think that it is something that we are going to invest in from an innovation point of view and not see any return on. Well, hopefully you'll get a feel today for the fact that that is no longer the case. And so these Copilot features are in market, in solutions, in your organizations right now, and able to be leveraged to augment what you do. So embrace the opportunity to understand where Microsoft is heading with all of these AI capabilities, and lean into it, because the rate of change and innovation is quite phenomenal. And so if you're unable to spare a bit of time to focus on what's coming, you might end up left behind. Over to you, Jared.
Thanks, Jordan. Just take back control here and move on to the next slide. All right. So we've got just a couple slides to walk you through, but I think proof is sort of in the pudding, and we'll actually get into the demonstration of some of these capabilities pretty quickly. So the first thing that we're going to walk through is really around how the user experience will look like depending on your particular role, and how that engagement for your customers and other external stakeholders looks, and how AI is going to support that engagement and make the tasks a little bit more efficient, make your day a little bit more efficient. So we think about the term Copilot, and think about it in context of aviation, for example. You're still the pilot. You're still in control of the plane. The co-pilot is there to help support you. The co-pilot is there to reduce some of the manual labor and offload some of that burden of the tasks that are in front of you. And so depending on your particular role, Copilot and AI is going to make that a bit more efficient, make that experience a little bit better. And when we think about the context of a customer role and that experience that we're trying to drive for our customers, many customers nowadays, and we've all probably experienced this when we engage organizations outside of our day-to-day job, we want to feel empowered. We want to feel that we're connected with the brand. We want to feel that we can figure out what we need to do pretty quickly and efficiently. And to date, self-service has been a core tenet of enabling that customer experience. Today, Microsoft is releasing a significant amount of capability from an AI standpoint in context of self-service. So instead of having to build those tailored experiences and understand the exact pathways that your customers might be going down when they call in or they chat through a live chat widget on your website, conversational AI is going to pick up and understand the intent and topics of what that customer is looking for, and then use the knowledge that you have across your organization from your knowledge base and your public-facing websites in order to support those customers. That makes it a lot easier for you as an organization to manage and maintain that information and provide the tools for your customers to support themselves. The benefits of that, as we all know from a self-service standpoint, not only providing the customer with the power to find the information they need, but reduces the overall costs and time and burden on your team members and your agents, so that we are sort of offloading or preventing that customer from actually having to speak to a human being. So significant time savings there, which ultimately from overall operations manager or leader standpoint, they're looking at driving down lower costs and enabling additional efficiencies. From an agent standpoint, when you're actually engaged with a particular customer and supporting them or responding to an inquiry, how can AI and Copilot help you respond to them much more quickly, find the information that you need in order to present to them, and give you the information that you need around that particular customer in order to be more efficient. So we'll walk through a couple of these capabilities in just a second. For those of you that aren't using Dynamics 365 customer service, this is a little bit of a quick snapshot of sort of the contact center flow or capabilities, but there's a plethora of capabilities within this, the Microsoft product suite here. And so we're going to touch on just a few of these through the demonstration, but we're happy to dive a bit deeper, offline if you would like. So from a contact center standpoint, Microsoft is bringing a full end-to-end platform to your service organization, regardless of the channel that customers are seeking to engage. I know, for the likes of myself, I get a lot of anxiety about calling in and actually having to speak to a human being. So I prefer email, or I prefer that sort of digital messaging experience. Whereas, maybe some of the other people on this call, you would prefer phone calls and calling into the organizations. Microsoft is enabling really an omni-channel experience where customers can engage across any sort of channel that they desire. And then from an administrative and management standpoint for your organizations, you have one single platform to manage all of those channels and one single platform to manage the same routing, same self-service, bots and IVRs, as well as one single platform or application for your agents and your supervisors to manage their whole operation. So with that, I will share my screen and we'll get into a demonstration. Now there's three sort of scenarios, while this is popping up, there's three sort of scenarios that we're going to cover. The first is, what does the experience look like and how does AI and Copilot support a chat experience? We'll then go into a telephony-based experience where I'll make a phone call, and then we'll show what it looks like to support it through the email channel. So for this first bit, I've got a live chat over here on the right, and this is essentially just a chat widget that we've probably all seen on various websites, or you have on your own website. And then behind here, I've got the agent experience, so the customer service workspace app, and I'm an agent answering this chat. And I've fast forwarded ahead, and we've already started a chat with this chat widget, and a bot has asked a few questions, and we've ultimately got to the point where this person wants to talk to an agent. Now, as you can see, as an agent, I do have the transcript of what's actually happened. So the bot answered the chat. The customer asked for support hours. We responded with some information around the Melbourne CBD store hours. And then the customer needed to speak with an agent about something. Now, traditionally, I would actually have to just do what we just did. I'd have to scroll up and read through what's actually happened here. That takes time. So time, does always equate to costs. Time also equates to potentially a negative experience or a poorer experience for the customer as they wait for that person, for the agent to catch up. Now with Copilot today, all I need to do is summarize this conversation. So one click away, Copilot is going to read that transcript, understand who was speaking on both sides of the conversation, and provide me a quick summary. Now, in context of that particular chat, which was only a few messages back and forth, that has value. But imagine a chat that expanded on to dozens and dozens of messages, or perhaps a chat that actually got transferred between different people and different bots through the conversation history. That is going to save time for a person. So Copilot is here to help summarize and ensure I'm seeing the right information that I need in order to effectively engage this customer as quickly as possible. Okay. I also have a summary of Abigail. So Abigail, we've already matched to Abigail. Abigail is the customer that was logged in and started that chat. I've got a quick view of some of her information. And then I also have a quick view of some recent potential information that might be relevant to why Abigail is reaching out. So we've got a case that's open here. I might click into that, which I will in a second, but I'll call attention to over here on the right. And you'll see this badge with the 1 there and the title Smart Assist. AI is actually looked at the chat, and it's also looked at Abigail's profile and everything that's sort of happening around Abigail. And it's understood that, hey, wait a minute, there was that case there, scroll down, around O2 batteries and travel. And it's read the history of that, and it's understood that that's open. So there's a knowledge article around oxygen concentrators and long haul flights. So AI is suggesting, hey, just FYI, there might be a question around this again because that's a recent conversation. Here's the knowledge base article that we can go ahead and look at. And this Smart Assist is intelligent. So if I go back to Abigail's chat here and say, I'm taking a trip soon, I want to understand what sort of COVID tests are needed, the AI behind the scenes is going to read that message, understand some of the intent there, and it's going to suggest another knowledge base article in just a second. While that's popping up, I'm going to open up that case here. And if we were to look at this particular case, again, just like with a chat transcript, I would have to potentially read what's actually happened here and go through the timeline. So I might see that, okay, there was an email that Abigail sent in, flying to London, 15-hour flight. We responded to that. Maybe that wasn't enough information, so there was a phone call about it. I can also see that there was a Teams chat. So someone had reached out to Bart inside of our organization through Teams to ask if there's any upcoming changes to the guidelines and policies with regards to this. That might take time, again, as I'm trying to support Abigail in real time here. Copilot, along with the conversation summary that you saw just a second ago, also has case summary. So case summary is going to look at everything that's happened with this particular case and summarize this information for us. I'll pause there because I think I see a hand up. If there's any questions in the chat. No? Okay. Cool. So again, Copilot in these two particular scenarios are really just trying to make things a little bit more efficient for us, take some of that mental burden and workload off of us, and just provide us the right information that we need and able to support this this conversation. Now let's go back to the chat. I could obviously just go ahead and respond. I could go to our Copilot here over on the right, and I could ask a question. What are the latest COVID test procedures? Copilot's going to search across our system and all the sources that we've provided it, and it's going to present potentially relevant information that we may suggest. So it's finding potentially looking for different things, and I can also look to see click this button and have AI actually just read that transcript and try and find that information for us directly. Great. So it's found some information around our COVID test procedures. Now I'm in a live chat, so I could just actually send this directly to the customer. I can edit this. I can provide additional context or ask it to shorten the message if I want to and have it refresh. Or I could just send this directly to Abigail through the live chat there. All that was summarized based on one of the knowledge articles that we have in our system. So if I open up that knowledge article, we'll see that got a lot of windows here. Excuse me. There we go. Just collapsing that. We'll see that there's actually quite a lot of information inside of this knowledge article in a way, in a format that really isn't presentable to a customer. And so what Copilot has done is it's summarized, the intent of what Abigail was looking for and summarized the content of this article in order for us to share that information in a very quick fashion. So far you've seen a couple different Copilot capabilities. You've seen chat summary or conversation summary, and you've seen case summary. And then you've seen how Copilot can allow you to ask a question, but also Copilot can summarize knowledge-based articles and actually share that response to a customer through the chat channel. Great. Now, the next scenario I'm going to show or talk through is a telephony experience here. And so bear with me while I turn off Teams noise suppression so you can hear the phone call. I'm actually going to make a phone call from my phone here, and we'll listen in on this.
Contacting the travel desk. If you'd like to speak to a human agent, let me know at any time. So, what can I help you with today? The choices are store support hours, locations, deals, purchase a trip, talk to an agent.
Talk to an agent. So I'm just skipping ahead to talk to an agent. The intent of what we're trying to show here is twofold. First being telephony channel is available within this digital contact center platform provided by Microsoft. The second is AI is present and is persistent through this whole experience. And so in just a second, I should get a pop-up to answer this call. It might not work because I'm still in the chat and I forgot to close that. Give it a second. Let me get rid of this chat. There we go. Yeah, so since I was in a chat, I couldn't answer a phone call. Now I've got this phone call coming in. Oh, this is a live chat. Wrong one. Sorry. There's always things that pop up here and there while doing demonstrations. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna make this phone call one more time.
Hi. Thanks for contacting the travel desk. If you'd like to speak to a human agent, let me know at any time. So, what can I help you with today? The choices are store support hours, locations, deals, purchase a trip, talk to an agent.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to an agent, please.
One moment. I will transfer you to a human agent.
Great, there we go. Okay, so you would have heard the bot, suggest all the different options. You would have heard me also say, I would like to talk to an agent, please. I didn't actually have to say the exact phrase, talk to an agent. So the AI is able to, ascertain the intent, in a conversational manner. The other things that I'll start to talk through and show too is that whole transcript that you saw during a web chat experience is also available through a telephony experience. If I unmute my phone and just have it listen to me, we'll see that live transcript kind of progress through this presentation. I'm going to start off and say,
Hey,
yeah,
Jared,
I'm
just
really unhappy and really frustrated that I haven't been able to find information around the COVID tests that I need for my upcoming trip. And I need some information ASAP, otherwise I'm going to be very unhappy. And the reason I say that is because AI is going to be persistently not only listening to this and transcribing it for everyone, AI is also going to be doing what's called real-time sentiment analysis. And so you can see up in the top left here, this is turned from neutral to slightly negative. And the benefits of that would be that there might be VIP customers, there might be new agents that you have where you want to manage any sort of negative sentiment and negative pathways, and either coach the agent or potentially as a supervisor be notified and jump in and help support that conversation. So AI is supporting this, and then AI is also going to be supporting presenting the right recommendations from a knowledge base article standpoint through the conversations with a customer. Okay. Finally, I'll just show the emails side of this. So let me just hang up here. So going into our inbox, many organizations will use Dynamics 365, and you may already be using it to manage support inquiries and other types of emails that come in. I'm very keen on this capability because I think this is going to be used the most across everyone on this call, even us here at Velrada. And this is capability that is going to be enabled as well through Outlook, through Microsoft 365 Copilot. But let's take this particular email. We've got Abigail who's emailed in. She's the primary caregiver for Graham and needs to cancel an upcoming visit due to a death in the family. Sure, I can go ahead and reply to this and either use a standard template that we've already pre-built for this, but we probably haven't pre-built a template for this. So that means I either have to go get a template created and then use that, or I have to actually type in and manually respond to this particular email. With Copilot, Copilot's going to help write that email for you. And you can see over on the right there that we have a few different prompts for what we want to have this email say. We could suggest a call, but that's probably not really appropriate for a death in the family and canceling a trip or a visit. And we've got other prompts. We're going to use the empathize with feedback. So Copilot is going to look at the email. It's going to look at Abigail's information, and it's going to understand the intent that we want to empathize with what's happened. So express our deepest condolences for your loss. We'll cancel your visit. I'll pass your complaint. Well, it's not a complaint. It's probably a request. So we can edit this here and then copy that into the email and done. I've literally just within a few seconds written an email and I can send that off to Abigail. Now that might be a little bit long, so I can just select part of this and adjust it with Copilot. I can change the tone, so I want friendly or formal, but maybe I just want to shorten that. So Copilot's going to take what I selected there, just that little bit, and it's going to adjust that email for me, and in just a few seconds override that, I think, and then present a shortened email. There we go. Fantastic. So shorten that up, and then we can go ahead and send that off to Abigail, all within a few seconds. So those are a couple examples of where we have, where for Copilot and AI from a customer service standpoint is supporting your team and supporting your organization. So I'll share the deck again, just give me a second. So just to summarize a few of the capabilities that we've shown, from a case management standpoint, the breadth of a case, whether that be a support issue, an inquiry, there's a lot of information that can potentially be, within the history of that case, and to review all of that just takes time, right? You multiply that time that it takes to review that case across all your team members across the course of a year, that can add up to significant costs and significant time savings that Copilot provides. So by summarizing the case information, we're basically helping your customer experience and helping your agent experience. From a response standpoint, whether that's an email or a chat response, AI is there to support you and save, again, significant amount of time in engaging your customers and responding to them through either chat, email, or other channels. And then understanding, conversation once it actually reaches you, whether that's chat or through that telephony experience. The conversation summary, again, is there to save you time and provide you that relevant information. So just real quick, to set up Copilot within Dynamics 365, contact Velrada if you'd like, but some of this capability is available just through the administration interface. You can select which Copilot capabilities you're looking for and determine who you want in your organization to access this. So it doesn't have to be an all or nothing approach. You can segment a couple of users or agents if you want to, and sort of trial how they actually use this. From a knowledge base and content standpoint, we've got articles within the Dynamics knowledge base or within your SharePoint knowledge base, as well as external web resources such as your public-facing website that Copilot can draw information from. And then finally, we'll talk about this at the end. This is all based on your data and your data alone. And so we'll talk about data security and what that looks like a little bit later. So you've seen what this sort of looks like from a user standpoint and a customer service lens, but there's a lot of capabilities that we can extend Copilot to support through the Microsoft Power Platform. And with that, I'll hand it off to Matt to walk through that.
Jared, just before we pass over to Matt, there was a good question in the chat from Brian.
I think you're on mute, Jordan.
Can you hear me? I think it's your speakers, Jared.
Sorry, my speakers were muted.
Your speakers were muted. Yes, sorry, mate. I was trying to wave at you. There's just a question in the chat from Brian, which is a good one, which is I'm out of my depth on, so it would need to pass to you. So the question is, how can you route incoming calls into Copilot? Is it from a PABX or 1-800 lines?
Yeah, and sorry about that. I forgot I muted my speakers to do that phone call because it's always a little weird to do a phone call while on a phone call with with stuff. So yes, yes, from PABX, basically any phone number that you own, we can route it through the public switch telephony network into this platform that you've just seen. Microsoft provides a service called Azure Communication Services, which connects this solution and Azure and their cloud with any sort of SBC that's part of the certified program. So I'm happy to walk through that in more detail, but yeah, we can basically route any of your 1-800 or other numbers into this solution.
Awesome.
I'm just going to take control of your screen there, if you don't mind. So let's talk a little bit about some of the other Copilots that are available. So what we've seen there is some core capability in Dynamics 365. And Dynamics 365 in those modules that you've seen will probably get you a very large percentage of the way to what you need for your call center, for your customer service capability. But what about that last 20%? What about the things that are unique for your organization? What about some of the other back of house or backstage processes that you have as part of what you offer as part of your service design? I think when we talk about the need to build on the fringes and build capability. Traditionally, we're talking about integration, we're talking about writing code, we're talking about your IT team needing to dive in and do custom things. In this day and age, that's not necessary. The Power Platform allows you to build apps, automations, bots, external facing portals, even leverage some other AI models so that you can actually extend the capability, both back of house and both front facing as well to your customers. So we've got some examples here, and I want to just quickly walk through just some slides to just give you a surface area of what Copilot can do with the Power Platform, starting off with building an app. So we can actually provide the Copilot a spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet might be a form that's currently being filled out, or maybe rows that are being filled in by some of your CSOs. We've also got the ability to provide a prompt to say, look, I need to capture this type of information, and I need an app to help me do that. And this might be one of many small apps in a catalog or a drawer of apps that you give to your CSOs that they're able to use, maybe whilst taking a call, maybe whilst face-to-face with a customer, if we're talking about kiosks and in-store situations, or maybe whilst they're processing cases. We'll show you an example very soon of what that looks like. We can also then, once we start to, or once we build the scaffolding of that app, we can actually then, if I'm not an app builder or if I'm not a developer, I can actually use prompts to say, look, I want to be able to customize what I see. I want to be able to customize what this looks like. I want to add a new field. I want to add validation to this particular field. But then we can also create a Copilot for our data as well. So one of the examples that we like to show is that if you are a vehicle rental business, you want to ask questions about your fleet, perhaps ask questions about the types of vehicles that are available, what's the most appropriate vehicle for a large family with lots of luggage, what might the availability be. Instead of having to click around, maybe we want to use voice, or maybe we want to use text prompts to be able to ask the data questions. And again, we'll show an example of that. We can also build automation. So Power Automate is quite a powerful tool which looks at triggers, and triggers might be data has been entered, or a case has been assigned, or a call has been detected, or an email has hit a shared mailbox. And then we want to be able to automatically process that with some actions. And those actions can pull in data from other systems that you have, even the non-Microsoft systems that you're probably incumbent to. It can also pull in information from AD. So if you need to get a manager's approval, let's pull in who the manager is and then initiate an approval. But then we can also process and write back. So again, if we need this automation to make a decision, we can do that. That decision can then be written back to the database, or maybe you can automatically close a case, maybe you can automatically investigate an outcome, etc. And I guess there's other core components of the Power Platform. We've got Power Virtual Agents, which are chatbots, which can be external facing, can be protected with authentication. So if you've already got like a customer portal, then we can leverage the same type of authentication that they would log in. You can embed that in your public facing website, your incumbent portal platform that you're using, or even a mobile app if you've got a mobile app out there on the App Store for your customers. We can use Copilot to build topics of conversation that it's entitled to have. If you don't have a customer portal or a supplier portal or a vendor portal, we can generate one with Copilot. Power Pages is the way to do that. It creates web applications. You can pull in data securely from your Dataverse instance, from D365, from your customer service platform. And then finally, when it comes to administrating and providing governance to your estate of Power Platform solutions and D365 solutions, there is Copilot to be able to do that as well. So that's all talk. Let's get to a little bit of the action. So This is going to be a live demo. I've got a couple of prompts up my sleeve, which hopefully all work as intended. So let me just share my screen. Also using the brand new version of Teams, so sharing the screen is a little bit different, but there we go. Hopefully everyone can see that okay. If you want to do anything that I'm trying to do today, you probably can. All you need to do is type in this URL, make.powerapps.com. You can do this from perhaps your corporate tenant, or you can spin up a trial environment. You can do this yourself as well. So this is where we make Power Apps. And you can see here, I've got a couple here that I've already built. But instead of starting with an Excel spreadsheet and it's going to generate an app from my spreadsheet, or starting with some templates, and I'll quickly show you, there's plenty of templates that Microsoft provide. In fact, there's plenty more on the way as well that just keeps scrolling. I can actually ask this to generate an app based on a prompt. So I've got one that I've prepared, and maybe, and this could be a good idea, this could be a terrible idea. The idea is not important, it's the capability that is, but I need an app to help my CSO perform a survey after a phone call, or maybe it's after an interaction at a shopping center kiosk, or maybe it's some other type of face-to-face interaction. The survey is going to generate a unique survey number. Perhaps when if I'm on a call, or if I create a case, I might want to enter that reference number in, just to keep things private, so we know what call it pertained to, but not necessarily who the caller was. I want it to have a created date, and the first question it's going to ask is, have I solved the problem? So let's just give it that prompt and see. Now, the first thing it's going to do before we start building an app, it's going to start thinking about what type of data do we need to capture, and it's already had a bit of a think. So it's going to give me some example data as well, just to help me visualize what's going on. It's going to generate a survey number. It's awesome. The call number, the reference number, they can be entered in. It's going to generate the date in which it was performed, and then it's giving me this yes, no. Let's just say that I want to ask a couple more questions. So let's add a second question. Are you happy with the service? Third one, are you likely to recommend? So I'm just going to give that to Copilot, and then hopefully, there we go. It's added some more columns there. These are the types of questions. And then finally, I can go down here and click Create App. So what this is doing is it's looking at that data model that we discussed, say me and Copilot. I am still the pilot, so I'm still in control. It's going to generate an app that I am still able to modify and fine tune and refine as much as I need to. And there we go. It's going to open up the Power Apps Studio, and this is where we build Power Apps. If you were to build one from scratch, or let us know in the chat if you've built a Power App before, or if you have people in your organization building Power Apps. But this is probably going to get me maybe 60% the way there. Maybe it's going to get me 80% the way there. It's going to leave that 40% or that 20% up to me to finish off. But hey, I've just done this in the space of a couple of minutes. We've got an app that's hot off the press, that's being generated. And once this finishes loading, we'll see that the Copilot's going to reappear up on the right-hand side here, and it's actually going to allow me to further modify what I can see. So I'm just going to straight off click play, and we're going to see that if I create a brand new survey, I can enter in the call number, and maybe I glean that straight out of D365 customer service. Were they happy with the service? Are they likely to recommend? It's going to, well, it hasn't in this instance generated the data automatically. I could probably ask Copilot to do that. It's going to generate a survey number, problem solved, yes. I'm just going to hit save. It's going to generate that, or it's going to save that record. I can add some information here. This is a cool one. Look, maybe there's some really bespoke feedback that we received from that customer. I just want to add an email screen, and maybe this is just a way that I can capture some feedback maybe something of interest, or maybe something really pointy that we can improve on. And I can send this directly to the supervisor or one of the CSO managers to say, hey, look, we've just got some feedback from the field, and they can then process that. But again, I've just said something simple like I want to add an email screen to this app. So it's going to think about all the different ways in which it can generate an email screen. There we go. I can say who it's to, subject, message, and it keeps me in the loop as to what it's done. And if I don't like it, I can give it a thumbs down. If I do like it, I can give it a thumbs up, and I can undo any of those changes that it's made. So that's how we can build apps. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go back just to make.powerapps.com. I'm going to show you how we could ask questions of our data. So I've got this vehicle rental management. So let's just pretend we're all CSOs of a vehicle rental business. And this is what is called a model-driven app. So it focuses on data and process, whereas that previous app we saw was a Canvas app. It focuses more on the user interface and the interaction with the user. But we can see here, I actually got ChatGPT to generate me a list of example vehicles, which was great. And what I've actually done is, if I go into one of these records, let's have a look at the type of data I've got. I actually asked ChatGPT to generate 50 vehicles with this information. I imported it in with a spreadsheet, but I actually asked it to provide me with a description and some characteristics and who it's suitable for. So hopefully it's given me some accurate information, but that's not the point. We can see here I've randomly assigned some of these as being available or currently rented out. And I'm going to say I want to see, let's say, a list of electric vehicles in our fleet. And this is going to interrogate this data source. And hopefully refine that list to just the electric vehicles, which it doesn't look like it did in that instance, but that's okay. I want to know what types of vehicles are electric and are currently available. So now I'm asking it to look across two different fields here. So it's going to look at this status. It's also going to look at that description. And again, look, we could actually use this same type of interaction with maybe a chatbot. Maybe if we've got a customer portal, the customer can actually ask these questions and be fed back these types of results. And we can see here that it's using some of the information that's been collated about these vehicles. What vehicle is appropriate for a family? I could be a brand new CSO working at a desk, let's say a vehicle rental desk, and maybe it's my first week. I don't know much about these cars. I can ask these questions myself, and I would seem pretty knowledgeable to the customer. So again, it's recommending the Model Y, and show me a list of Teslas in our fleet. Let's see if we can get it to refine that list again. Hopefully I can get it to work this time. I didn't do it again this time, but that's okay. I'm just going to say bad bot. tell it to work next time. Let's move on to Power Automate. So this is where, instead of having to start from scratch, we can start from prompts, and we can say things like when an email comes into a particular mailbox and the email address that it comes from relates to a customer that's flagged as a VIP, let the team leader know immediately. And we can start to look at how it will come up with a couple of different suggested flows. We can do things that are a bit more administrative, like every week, get a list of cases from last week and send it to the team and wish them a good week. I mean, that looks fairly complicated, right? I would have had to have thought of this all from scratch, or I would have had to have potentially have been a sophisticated Power Platform developer to be able to come up with something like this, but it's gotten me most of the way there. So the recurrence is there. So it's saying, I want you to run once a week. That's awesome. It's getting a list of all of the different cases. It's using variables, which is great. Might not be a developer, so I might not know how to use some of these concepts. It's going to iterate across all of those records, and then it's going to count them all up and put them into a Teams chat. And then I can go through, and again, we talk about what's that 30% or that 20% that I need to do. What's the team site? What's the channel? What's the message? So they're the little bits that I could do to finish it off. Or I could ask Copilot to do it for me. Copilot's helping me out here by saying, hey, look, just to get this finished, let me walk you through the different steps of what you might need to do to be able to get this to be ready for a production workload. Let's have a look at some chatbots now. So a chatbot inherently is quite dumb. It doesn't know what to say. We have to give it content so that it understands how to interact. Now, there's two ways of doing that. We can point the Power Virtual Agent at a body of knowledge, and that might be a whole bunch of content that's on your website, maybe managed through an incumbent CMS. That could be some of those knowledge-based articles that Jared showed us just before, and the ones that you allow to be public facing. Or we could start to build our own logic. And I'm going to give you an example of that. So let me go up here. Let me say that I want to add a brand new topic, and I want to create it with Copilot. So this is going to be feedback. And then I'm going to say, user's going to give some anonymous feedback. It's going to ask them the type of feedback. It's then going to ask them to enter in a description. So let's just create that, and let's see how that conversation flow is generated by Copilot. So it's guessed a couple of different phrases here of how someone might want to give feedback. So if someone was to ask down here, I want to give some feedback. We can probably see here that's going to be picked up by this, and we can see it's asking questions. What's the type of feedback? And it's gleaned this from my prompt. Look, probably doesn't happen often. People will more than likely give complaints, but let's do a compliment this time. And I'm going to say, love your work. And then Copilot's thought, well, maybe we'll have a little bit of a reply message here, but I can do something cool. I can ask the user for their name. Maybe I can summarize the information and provide it back to them as an adaptive card. Maybe that might make more sense if we're maybe trying to organize a booking or organize an appointment or something like that. Feed it back to the user and say, here is what you're booking and when you're booking it, etc. Oops, let's go on that one. So if we ask it for an adaptive card, let's see what it does. And let's try that again. Want to leave feedback. This time it's a complaint. Not good. Then it's going to come back with an adaptive card, or otherwise it would usually come back with an adaptive card. Looks like it's not liking the adaptive card at the moment, but that's okay. We could actually then start. Let me get rid of that adaptive card because I think that's going to be problematic. We can then start to interact with Dataverse or interact with D365 or maybe even our incumbent customer service management system. We can call actions and we could say, look, I want to be able to launch a flow, or I want to be able to create a plugin where I might get information from another data source and use that to fuel the conversation. I might want to search the knowledge base for some of the words that have been used by the user. I might want to send an email back to that user if they've provided their email address to maybe summarize whatever conversation we've had, or send them the information as a bit of a receipt of this is what we spoke about and this is what I actually recommended to you. So again, there's actually a lot of capability here for us to be able to then interact with data and provide enriched responses back to the user. We can actually use Copilot as well to build customer portals. I can give it a prompt where I can say, look, I want a customer portal where users can log in, create a case, leave some feedback, and maybe a few up products. This one does take a little bit longer. So here is one I prepared just a moment ago. Actually kicked it off whilst Jared was talking, just so it was nice and fresh here. But it's had a bit of a think. It's given us a welcome. It's gone and created these different links to go down those different routes that we asked it for. It's got a capability for us to create a case and leave feedback. I could ask Copilot to make changes to this if I wanted to. I could say, make the theme more purple. I'll probably have a bit of a think about that. Whilst it's doing that, let's actually see if this site works. So I've got it open here. This is what it's created. We can see that this is, it's going to allow us to leave some feedback. Let's have a look at this option here. It's created a menu across the top as well. So again, it's started to scaffold out all of this. Again, is it 100%? No. Is it going to get you 40, 50, 60% the way there? Yes. It's just going to speed things up a little bit from that concept. And there it is. What sort of colors do you want? I like that purple. Let's apply that theme. Copilot's then going to help me to theme it with something that's a bit more purple. So I guess let's just round off what we've seen here. D365, the customer service modules, the Copilots in there, very native capabilities with a rich amount of extendability as well. If we do need to extend for the purposes of what we do uniquely as an organization, we can use the Power Platform to do that. We can build apps, we can build flows, we can build chatbots and portals, and then make it uniquely yours. And then with Copilot, it's both a tool for developers to be able to build things in low code, but it's also going to be a tool for your customer service folks, for your staff to be able to augment and supply them with information and capability as well. So with that, I'll hand back to my colleagues.
Thanks, Matt. And yeah, I'll reiterate a little bit of what Matt said in the sense that some of the capabilities that you've seen that I presented from an agent standpoint and customer standpoint are all powered by Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform. So the ability to extend your portal or build out that virtual agent, Copilot can help assist with the build out of those things, as well as Copilot assisting the agents and the customers during those actual interactions. So hopefully that gives you some perspective or insight into a couple of the 150 plus capabilities of Copilot. With that, I'll hand it over to Deepa, who's going to talk a little bit about how Microsoft themselves are using this capability. And then Deepa, if you wanted to take control, go ahead and click through.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jared. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Great. So Microsoft Service Organization uses Copilot for Dynamics customer service. So it's been deployed to about 40,000 service engineers, and we've seen so far increased productivity and decrease case transfers and case consults. So thanks for clicking through this. So Copilot has led to an increase in the number of cases and chats managed by agents by 9 to 12%. So that ties to the overall productivity increase result we're seeing. It's decreased the average handling time for agents by 12 to 16%, and it decreased the need for expert help to resolve a case by 13%. So we've seen these really compelling results from Microsoft Service Organization, and everything that we've developed, we've used our service organization to test the features and to provide feedback, and also to help us understand also what to prioritize. So that leads us to our roadmap. So just, I'm not going to drain all of this, but we're just want to emphasize we're developing really quickly. And just in the short term, we're going to be allowing organizations to segment knowledge content so agents can filter through the content they want Copilot to reference. So, for example, our service organization spans multiple lines of business. Their knowledge content needs to, they want Copilot to actually reference specific knowledge articles that are relevant to their lines of business. So that's why we've actually tested this knowledge filtering for Copilot, and we'll be rolling out that feature shortly. Another feature we're rolling out is allowing additional Dataverse inputs for case summaries and email assist through the customer service admin center. So right now, email assist features and case summarization only takes into account certain Dataverse fields. We've heard feedback that says, hey, actually, for example, some of my, we actually want to reference another entity in Dataverse to pull information into Copilot. So we've heard that feedback, and we're allowing admins the ability to have that flexibility to configure additional entities. The multi-turn chat auto prompting, so we're investing in that. So what that means is that in the ask a question feature, there'll be suggested prompts to agents. And improved Copilot transparency. So there'll be inline citations within the actual Copilot responses. Right now, you see an area where an agent can check the sources, what sources were used to generate the Copilot response. We want to provide more granularity. This was, again, feedback from our service organization. They want to know, like, what part of the Copilot response was from what source. So we'll be providing that additional transparency. And just like zooming out a little bit, on the horizon, which is like long term, there's two really big areas of investments. One is around plugins, and plugins will allow organizations to connect to external data sources. So right now, Copilot really is focused on, taking data, ingesting data from Dataverse. But, we understand that organizations have data everywhere. So we want to provide organizations the ability to leverage plugins to connect Copilot to other data sources. So really allow customers to register plugins, create their own plugins, and allow and pull that data into Copilot. Another area of a big area of investment is knowledge Copilot. So we understand so unfortunately with Copilot, it's like the quality of the Copilot responses is as good as the knowledge is ingests. And so we understand how hard it is to maintain knowledge articles. So that's why we're investing in Knowledge Copilot, which will allow customers it'll basically auto create knowledge articles based on, cases. We're rolling that first out based on cases. It would auto create knowledge articles or auto update knowledge articles. So it's less of a burden for admins or content SMEs to continuously update knowledge articles. So those are plugins, and Knowledge Copilot are two key areas of investment. And I see there's a question, can you transfer knowledge from a learning management system to Knowledge Copilot? So we have an integrated search provider capability where you can pull in data from a site, but into Dataverse. And so I can send a link about the data, the integrated search provider. But there are some limitations to that. but this would be also a good use case for plugins.
Fantastic. Thanks, Deepa. I'm particularly excited about the plugin bit because that means that Copilot can reach out into those other systems and potentially get more information to support users or take action. So, you know, in the scenario where we responded to that email to cancel an upcoming visit, we could actually reach into potentially that reservation system and cancel that trip, for example. Cool. So we're going to wrap up here. I've got a couple additional slides. We've got some common questions that we've heard from the likes of yourselves and our other customers. First being around licensing requirements. So what licensing is required? And to be frank, that depends on the Copilot itself. So some of the capabilities that I showed are part of the Dynamics 365 customer service environment and license that you would have as long as it is an enterprise license. Some of the capabilities that Matt showed within the Power Platform are available as long as you're fully licensed for the Power Platform. And then there are other Copilots across Microsoft 365, Field Service, Finance and Operations. So depending on what solution you're looking for, what Copilot capabilities you're interested in, the answer is it depends. So reach out to us and we're happy to support you. English is supported as well as a number of other languages. Where is Azure OpenAI and Copilot essentially available? So there are a couple of countries where it's available now. Australia is coming soon, but I think I've heard from an authoritative source from Microsoft that we've got some more information there. Deepa, do you have anything?
Yeah, so actually, Australia, so we have a endpoint in Australia. It just went live yesterday. So all of data in Australia will be processed in Australia, so it wouldn't leave Australia. It's very exciting.
That's fantastic. I think everyone on this call is very happy to hear that. And then the final bit is, do I have to go all in on Copilot? The answer is, across all my users and my organization, the answer is no. We can sort of target specific proof of concepts or teams or users in order to ascertain and assess how Copilot can be used before a broader rollout to your organization. Finally, to add on to what Deepa said around data being processed and Copilot working within Australia, data security. So some of the common questions we get around are around data security. So your data is not available to other customers, number one. Your use of OpenAI is not available to other customers or even to Microsoft. The AI models that are in place are not using your data to train and improve upon. So Microsoft, being probably the leader in AI at an enterprise level, has a robust sort of framework around data security and ensuring that your data, your customer information, your usage of it is all limited to your tenant and your subscription. So it's not being shared around. Again, if you have any other questions, we're very happy to answer more information around these topics. And with that, Jordan, did you want to wrap up?
Yeah, thanks, Jared. So hopefully that session was exciting for everybody, and we've got a bit of time still up our sleeve. Obviously, the co-pilots have been working fast today and made us a bit more efficient. So if there are any questions, feel free to post them into the chat. If you're already a Dynamics customer and you want to understand more about these Copilot features and how you can enable them within your platform, just reach out. Obviously, you'd likely have a Microsoft account representative, or I'm sure will be keen to help. Or of course, reach out to the Velrada folks on this call or your Velrada rep. A reminder to everybody that in most cases, the customer service Copilot features that you've seen in demonstration today are all enabled as part of your Dynamics 365 enterprise licensing. So if you're already licensed, you've likely already got the use rights to be able to access these capabilities, which is an important factor for doing anything new, for sure. If you're already embracing the Power Platform, either in a non-premium or premium capacity, and you're keen to understand more about how you can leverage some of this stuff, again, reach out to us. And if you don't have either of these capabilities in your organization already, well, you should. So please reach out and we'll happily help you try and switch it on.
There's a question.
Okay. So any updates on Copilot Quiet Time release date from Emma? I'll pass that to you chaps, Matt or Jared, or indeed yourself, Deepa.
So I'm not sure I understand the question. Copilot quiet time. Deepa, do you know what that is?
No, unfortunately, I don't know what it is. We have a lot of Copilots
Yeah.
at Microsoft, so I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's a customer insights feature.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. I think we can get back to you on that one because we didn't show that from the we didn't show marketing capabilities as part of this this webinar. Yeah. But Deepa, do you have any information on that?
So I can follow up on that, definitely.
Yeah.
Looks like it might be December 2023. Looking at the release schedule. But yeah, let's see. Doesn't look like it's been updated.
That's the release plan. Are you in SWAPE 2? That's correct. Then we try to keep those up to date.
Right. Good question, Emma. Have you got any more out there in the audience?
Raise their hand to back it up.
Okie dokie. Well, look, the recording will be made available to everybody. You've hopefully able to access our details through the webinar invite. Feel free to reach out. Super keen to start engaging with you folks. We're really excited about some of these features, and particularly from my point of view on the Power Virtual Agent side of the fence. So if there's opportunity out there for you to trial some of those solutions, please reach out. We're super keen to help customers line those things up. And there are lots of avenues for co-investment in leveraging some of these AI capabilities. So please reach out and we look forward to helping.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.